Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Also, we discussed Lenz's law, which gives the direction of induced current or induced EMF in a given circuit. Today, let us revise those definitions once again. Faraday's first law. Faraday's first law. According to Faraday, whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with a coil, it leads to the development of induced EMF or induced current in the circuit. So, whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with a coil generates an EMF or current in it. This EMF is called induced EMF. This current is called induced current. They exist as long as the change in magnetic flux link with coil. They exist as long as the change in magnetic flux is linked with the coil. This is the first law proposed by Faraday. Faraday's second law. As per the Faraday's second law, the induced EMF developed is proportional to d phi by dt, rate of change in magnetic flux linked with the coil. So Faraday's second law gives us the mathematical expression representing Faraday's first law. If there are n turns in the coil, n into d phi by dt is the strength of induced EMF developed. The proportionality constant, they found it as 1. And this law is called Newman's law, and it is incorporated with negative sign according to Lenz's law. So this is the full-fledged statement for Faraday's second law. The induced EMF is given by minus n into d phi by dt. Here phi is the magnetic flux linked with the coil, so you should write phi b. As long as phi b is changing with respect to time, it develops an EMF in the circuit. Whenever you want current in the circuit, current is given by induced EMF by resistance, that is minus n by r into d phi b by dt. So this is the discussion according to the last class. Here minus is given by Lenz's law. Let us see the definition of Lenz's law once again here. Before to that, how to calculate the flux? Flux can be calculated by taking the dot product of B bar and A bar, or you can write BA cos theta. So if I substitute it here, induced EMF is given by minus n into d by dt of dA cos theta. Then minus NBA, B is the strength of magnetic field, A is the area of the loop you considered, d by dt of cos theta. You can write it as NBA. For cos theta, the derivative is minus sin theta into d theta by dt. You know that d theta by dt is angular velocity. d theta by dt is angular velocity. So minus into minus, it becomes plus n b a omega sin theta. As you know, omega is equal to theta by t. Theta can be replaced with omega t also. So then E is equal to NBA omega sin omega t. NBA omega sin omega t. It is producing an EMF which is a sine function. Sine function means it is an alternating EMF, and the current related to this is an alternating current. So from Faraday's law, we got a mathematical expression for the general form of alternating EMF or alternating current, provided here B should be constant, A should be constant. One more important point what you should understand here is, if sometimes B might be variable, that is called varying magnetic field. Sometimes area of the loop is variable. Sometimes the orientation of the loop is variable. Orientation means the angle between B and A is going to change with respect to time. Either the change in B value, or the change in A value, or the change in theta value leads to the development of EMF in the circuit. Don't think that always magnetic field should be very variable, always area should be variable, always the orientation of the loop should be variable, like that. If anything is variable, if more than one thing is variable, it leads to the development of induced EMF. So we can conclude like this. The conclusion of this discussion is like this. Induced EMF will be developed due to change in B value. Means here is a coil provided with galvanometer, and you are making a bar magnet to move forward and backward. In this case, B is changing, the magnetic flux linked with the coil is going to change, leads to the development of induced EMF. Sometimes coil is at rest, magnet is also at rest. Then you can expect the induced EMF by changing the orientation of the coil. That means if the coil is rotating around its own axis with certain angular velocity omega and magnet is at rest, then also E will be developed. E due to change in theta. Whenever the coil is rotating, so relative positions of the coil and magnet are not going to change. Change in theta value leads to the development of induced EMF or induced current. Suppose here is a region provided with a U-shaped wire over which A rod is rolling like this. This entire region is having some magnetic field into the paper. Here, strength of B is fixed. The orientation of the loop is also fixed. As it is moving like this, the area of loop associated with magnetic field is going to change. So E due to change in area. Sometimes you may take a wire loop whose radius is changing with respect to time. After some time the radius becomes scapular. So here radius is a function of time. So here if magnetic field is provided with constant magnitude, you will get the development of induced EMF. So induced EMF will be detected due to the change in B value, due to the change in theta value, due to the change in area of the loop, due to the change in any one of the three or any two of the three, all the three. So depending on the change, you will get induced EMF or induced current. So this Faraday's second law provides us a general expression for alternating current. A general expression for alternating current. Once again, we will revise Lenz's law. The direction of induced current is such that it always opposes the cause that produced it. So this is the statement of Lenz's law. Already we discussed this in the last class. Suppose if you have a coil, this coil is connected to some galvanometer, and if you are bringing a bar magnet nearer to this, some magnetic field is like this, some magnetic flux is linked with the coil. Due to the movement of this coil due to the movement of the magnet towards the coil, it generates some induced current or induced EMF. I would like to know the direction of the induced current or induced EMF. The direction of the induced current is such that it always opposes the cause that produced it. Due to the movement of magnet towards its surface, the induced current got developed. The developed current should oppose the cause that produced it. So we have a general idiom: children opposes parents, or children opposes parents. We got everything from our parents, but most of the times we oppose the decisions taken by our parents. So that means we are opposing the cause that produced it. The language we learned from our parents. Every activity, whatever we are doing, we learned from our parents, and again we are opposing with our activities against our parents, or we are doing activities against to the will and wish of parents. The children, they got the ideas from the parents, and with those ideas they are opposing the parents. Similarly, here, due to the movement of this magnet, some current got developed here. The developed current want to oppose the cause that produced it. That means the original magnetic field is in this direction. Magnetic field is tangential to the line of force. It is going to develop its own magnetic field in the opposite direction. That is called induced magnetic field. This is called applied magnetic field. This is called induced magnetic field. This induced magnetic field is opposite in direction to the applied magnetic field. To have a magnetic field in this direction, according to right hand rule, if the thumb is representing the direction of magnetic field, the remaining fingers are oriented in this direction. So you are getting the direction of induced current like this. You are getting the direction of induced current like this. The same is the case here. Here is the coil with the galvanometer. Here is the magnet having north pole and south pole moving away from the coil. Moving away from the coil means applied magnetic field is in this direction. Applied magnetic field is in this direction. Otherwise, you bring south pole instead of north pole towards the coil. Otherwise, you bring south pole instead of north pole towards the coil. So the lines of force always go from north to south. So some lines of force are going into the south. So this is the direction of applied field. So it has to develop an induced field in the opposite direction. In order to have the field in this direction, the current should go like this. Induced current should go like this. Here north pole is approaching, applied field is in this direction, the induced field is in this direction. In order to have the induced field in this direction, the current is going in this direction. So current is going anti-clockwise. Induced field is like this means induced field is having north pole in this way, because from north pole lines of force should go that side. This north pole is opposed by the north pole of the induced magnetic field. In this case, here south pole should get generated, here north pole should get generated. As the direction is reversed, here induced field is like this means here north pole is there, and here south pole is there. This south is up. South is not allowing this south to come forward. Similarly, the same coil, same north pole and south pole, if you take like this, if the coil is moving like this, it doesn't want to allow this magnet to move that side. So earlier it is repelling in both the cases. Now it need to attract. That means south should be generated here, north should be generated here to avoid the movement of the magnet away from the coil. So in order to have north and south like this, the induced field should have the direction of current like this, like this. Is it correct? Once you check what is the direction of applied field, what is the direction of induced field developed, and what is the direction of current. You see here, when north pole is coming forward, here north pole should generate. Earlier I told, in order to have north pole, north means N. N means like this. Which motion? Anti-clockwise motion generates north. Similarly, clockwise motion generates south. Here it is wrong. Clockwise motion is correct. So this is the direction of current, induced current according to Lenz's law. You should follow clearly. Once you read the statement, always children opposes the ideas given by the parents. They learnt all the ideas from the parents only. Again with their ideas they are opposing the parents. Similarly, here this induced current is developed because of the motion of this magnet, and this current is developing some another magnetic field which is opposing the original magnetic field. So likewise we need to have the directions of induced current, and Lenz's law is another form of law of conservation of energy. The moment of magnet is associated with some mechanical energy. This mechanical energy is getting converted into electrical energy in the coil. The electrical energy is driving the charges inside the coil to generate induced current or induced EMF in the coil. I hope everybody followed this Lenz's law. The directions are very simple. Always while we are facing the coil like this, with respect to observer only you should speak. Here observer is this side. Here observer is this side. So he is observing the coil from this side. Then he will feel clockwise. If the same observer is this side, it is anti-clockwise. So with respect to observer only, the direction should be specified. If you are observing a coil right from its top view, if current is moving in anti-clockwise direction, north pole got generated. If it is going in clockwise direction, south pole got generated at that location. So this is the observation you should learn from the definition of Lenz's law. Now let us go to the next concept. Now let us learn induced electric field. Induced electric field. Already we studied about electric field in electrostatics. The electric field what you studied in electrostatic is different from the induced electric field. So first of all, let us understand what is induced electric field. If suppose there is a ring like this, this ring is kept inside a uniform magnetic field like this. The ring is kept inside a uniform magnetic field like this. If B is the strength of the magnetic field, if you are going to increase the strength of the magnetic field, what does it mean? Suppose the same ring, side view, if it is like this, here is north pole and south pole, and if you are bringing this magnet towards this, the strength of the field or the strength of the flux linked with the coil is going to increase. This is not uniform magnetic field. Here there is some uniform magnetic field. That means all the field lines are parallel to one another. The strength of the field is increased by increasing the strength of the pole strength. Okay. Whenever we increase like this, here number of lines of force linked is going to increase. Here number of lines of force are fixed, but the strength of the field is going to increase. In any case, if phi increases, B also, phi is equal to BA. When you increase phi, automatically B increases. Whenever you increase B, phi also gets increases. Whatever is the case, both are little bit different from one another, whatever it is. Here, by bringing the magnet, you are increasing the flux. Whenever we increase the flux, the strength of the field got increased. Even in this case of uniform magnetic field, if you increase the strength of the magnetic pole, then also B value gets increased. In order to oppose the increment in B, an opposite induced magnetic field should get developed here. Actually, this magnetic field is into the paper. Induced magnetic field B dash is out of the paper. This is induced magnetic field. Induced magnetic field. In order to have induced magnetic field out of the paper, the current should move like this. The current should move like this. Current is moving inside the conductor in anti-clockwise direction. This is what we discussed in the last discussion according to Lenz's law. Now, I would like to introduce a new term called induced electric field. Electric current is moving means some electric charges are moving. Here, there are two formulae for us. Force due to magnetic field given by Q into V bar cross B bar. Here, V and B are lying in one plane means force due to magnetic field is lying in another direction. So, magnetic force will never increase velocity. Magnetic force only alters the direction of motion of the charge. FB alters the direction of motion of charge. FB alters the direction of motion of charge. Since it is in a direction perpendicular to the direction of V bar and B bar. Whereas force due to electric field FE is given by EQ. This force will make the charge to move. Will make the charge to move. That means here charges are moving means they are associated with some electric field. The electric field associated with the motion of charges is called induced electric field, since this current is induced current. So, induced current is driven by induced electric field. This induced electric field is along the direction of induced current. So, here electric field is in circular shape, having anti-clockwise direction. Here E bar is like this. This induced electric field is like this, along the direction of induced current. Whereas in electrostatics, electric field is from positive potential to negative potential. Here electric field is like this. It is along a straight line. But here the induced electric field is in a curved shape along the direction of induced current. So that is the difference between electrostatic electric field and this induced electric field. If I would like to calculate the formula for induced electric field, so simple calculation I will do here. In order to move the charge in the closed loop, some work should be done. You know that work done is given by dW is equal to FdL. W is equal to integral FdL. Here work is done on the charge to move over a closed path. Hence I took integration over a closed loop. But we know that work done is given by W is equal to VQ. W is equal to VQ. That is the general formula. Here the work is done by induced EMF or induced potential. So E into the charge Q. EQ is equal to integral. In the place of F, I should write this force is given by whom? Electrical force. Electrical force is doing this work. Magnetic force is not doing this work. Magnetic force is only making the particle or charged particle to move in a curved path. So you can write it as EQ dl. QQ gets cancelled. So induced EMF is given by closed integral E bar dot dl bar. Strictly speaking, as it is a scalar, we should take scalar product between two vectors. So the closed integral induced electric field dot elemental length gives induced EMF in the circuit. From that you can calculate induced current also. Already according to Faraday's law, induced EMF is given by minus n into d phi b by dt. Here number of turns is 1. You can write it as E is equal to minus d phi b by dt. So finally you can write integral E bar dot dl bar is equal to minus d phi b by dt. d phi b by dt. By using this formula, you can calculate the strength of electric field over here. Once again, I am repeating my discussion. There is a ring. It is associated with a magnetic field, either uniform magnetic field or non-uniform magnetic field. Whatever it is, if you increase the strength of the magnetic field by bringing the magnet nearer to this, we are increasing the magnetic field over there, or by increasing the strength of magnetic field, and you can increase B value. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with the coil is going to change its value, then it leads to the development of induced EMF or induced current in the circuit, which is given by Lenz's law. And the magnitude of this induced EMF is given by Faraday law. And this movement of charges are associated with some electric field inside the conductor. The electric field developed due to the variation of magnetic flux linked with the coil is called induced electric field. The basic difference between electric field in electrostatics and electric field in this particular concept is that here electric field is circular in shape. Electric field is circular in shape. Here electric field is in straight line path. So that is the basic difference between them, and this law is very useful for calculation of induced EMF in a given loop of wire associated with change in magnetic field. Now let us solve one or two problems based on this to have more idea about the induced electric field. Let us solve one problem based on induced electric field. Just now we learned the formula induced EMF is equal to closed integral E bar dot dl bar, that is equal to minus d phi b by dt. Based on this, we will solve the problem. Let us see. Here the problem question is like this. There exists a uniform magnetic field in a circular region. This is the formula, you keep it aside. In a circular region of radius r, in a circular region of radius r centered at O, the field is the field is perpendicular to and out of the plane of the paper, out of plane of paper, and its strength varies with time as B is equal to B naught T. Find the induced electric field at a distance smaller from the center for first case small r less than capital R, second case small r greater than capital R. Solution is simple. Once you read the question clearly, there exists a uniform magnetic field in a circular region of radius r centered at O. The field is perpendicular and out of the plane of the paper, and its strength varies according to the relation B is equal to B naught T. It is distributed over a circular region and centered at O, having radius capital R. Find the induced electric field at a distance smaller from the center. So let me take a point here. I need to find induced electric field here at this location. I would like to find. Here magnetic field is, and out of the plane of the paper, this side. Out of the plane of the paper means it is outside like this. Out of the plane of the paper, it is like this. Magnetic field is out of the paper. First let's solve the first case. Small r is less than capital R. So clearly small r is located at the inside region of the given magnetic field. We would like to find the induced electric field here. The general formula for induced electric field is closed integral E bar dot dl bar is equal to minus d phi b by dt. First let me calculate phi b and integral E bar dot dl bar individually. First let me take left hand side. So closed integral E bar dot dl bar. So here if you take a small element of length dl, electric field is also parallel to that. E bar and dl bar are parallel to one another, hence you can write E dl cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. At a fixed distance, electric field have fixed value. So E integral dl. So if you join all the small elements, it is nothing but circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi small r. This is the expansion on the left hand side. Let me go for expansion on right hand side. On right hand side we have phi b, that is nothing but b bar dot a bar. They gave strength of the magnetic field is B naught T. B naught T. Area means what I should take. Area of the loop associated with the magnetic field is nothing but this dotted line area. The dotted line area is nothing but pi r square, pi small r square. Okay, again B bar and A bar are, B bar is out of the paper, area of the loop is given by its normal, both are parallel to one another, cos 0 is 1. So phi b is given by B naught pi r square t. We need minus d phi b by dt. Here constants I should keep out. B naught is constant, pi is constant, r radius is constant, d by dt of t with a negative sign. Derivative of t with respect to t is that only, that is nothing but minus B naught pi r square. So if you equate left hand side and right hand side expansions, E into 2 pi r must be equal to minus B naught pi r square. R and square gets cancelled. So electric field is given by pi gets cancelled, minus B naught by 2 r. Minus B naught by 2 r. Clearly B naught is constant, 2 is constant. Induced electric field is proportional to the radius of the loop area we considered, or distance of the point. Distance of the point. This is for the first case. We can solve the second case in the similar lines. So in the second case, small r is greater than capital R. Small r is greater than capital R. That means we should consider a point outside of this zone. Here let me consider this. In the second case, small r is like this. We should consider the area like this. So at this point again you should take a small element dl. Again E bar will be in the same direction. Again E bar will be in the same direction. Now here one point you should take into consideration. What is the direction of this E bar? So B is going to increase with respect to time. B is going to increase with respect to time. When B is going to increase with respect to time, field out of the paper is going to increase with respect to time. When field going out of the paper is increasing with respect to time, induced field will be into the paper. In order to have field into the paper, the current should go in clockwise direction. So I took directions in a wrong way. So you should be careful about directions also. E bar and dl bar both are parallel to one another, but they are in clockwise direction because field is out of the paper. Once again I am repeating. Here strength of the magnetic field is out of the paper. That is applied magnetic field is out of the paper. And magnetic field is going to increase its value with respect to time. It's a function of time. Once applied magnetic field is increasing out of the paper, induced magnetic field is developed into the paper. In order to develop induced magnetic field into the paper, as per right hand thumb rule, if the thumb is representing induced magnetic field into the paper, remaining fingers are oriented like this. So you will have clockwise induced current here, clockwise induced magnetic field here. So dl bar and E bar both are should be taken like this. Okay, there should not be any confusion related to the direction. Once again you go through the Lenz law definition. Based on that direction we specified here. Calculation will not alter. Similarly, again left hand side I am taking, that is integral E bar dot dl bar, that is integral E dl cos 0 degrees, both are parallel to one another. At a fixed distance E is fixed, E integral dl. Integral dl is nothing but circumference of the circular area you considered. Circumference is 2 pi r. Here radius is smaller only again, so there is no change in the left hand side expansion. But whereas in right hand side, first let me calculate phi b, b bar dot a bar, that is nothing but b naught t into pi r square. B naught t into pi r square. Here radius, whether we have to take small or capital R, magnetic field is confined in a zone of radius capital R. Here you won't find any magnetic field, but this magnetic field, whatever is available, it is inside this given loop and it linked with the coil. So we should not take small r here, we should take capital R here. This is the only difference. Magnetic field is confined up to only capital R distance, though magnetic field in this region. Even though loop area is like this, entire magnetic field is inside this. So area of the magnetic field associated with the loop is pi capital R square. Then minus d phi b by dt, which is given by minus d by dt of b naught pi t capital R square. So here constants, let me take out b naught pi t, let me take it out. Sorry, pi r square, I can take it out, d by dt of t. That is nothing but minus b naught pi r square will be the value of right hand side. If I equate these two, e into 2 pi small r is equal to minus b naught pi capital R square. This and this gets cancelled. Then E is given by minus B naught by 2R into R square, which implies E is proportional to 1 by R, whereas in the earlier case, E is proportional to R. So that is the difference between the two cases. The induced electric field is proportional to the distance of the point if the point is lying within the field. If the point is lying outside the field, then E is proportional to 1 by R. So I hope you understood the concept of induced electric field through this discussion of this problem. Thank you. Let us discuss one more problem. It's a simple problem. The question, it is saying that a coil having 100 tons and area 0.001 meter square is free to rotate about its axis. Is free to rotate about its axis. The coil is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field of 0.1 Weber per meter square. If the coil is rotate rapidly, through an angle 180 degrees, how much charge will flow through the coil. The resistance of the coil is 10 ohms. The resistance of the coil is 10 ohms. First, let us understand. Coil is having number of turns. Number of turns is equal to 100. Area of the coil is given by 0.001 meter square. Is free to rotate about its axis. The coil is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field of strength 0.1 Weber per meter square, and it is rotated rapidly through an angle. They gave angular displacement. Due to the rotation of coil, induced current or induced EMF is developed. We discussed that either due to the change in area of the coil, or due to the change in the strength of the magnetic field linked with the coil, or due to the change in the orientation of the coil, you will get induced EMF in the coil. So this is the third case, and the resistance of the coil is, they gave 10 ohms, and you are asked to find how much charge will flow through the coil. First, let me calculate the current, and did they give the time? Time also we should consider to calculate this. First, let me tell you flux is B bar dot A bar, that is nothing but BA cos theta. This theta and this theta are different. This is the angle through which it is rotated. This is the angle between B bar and A bar. So the coil is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. That means the area of the coil vector is parallel to B bar. So cos 0. This is BA. Here n turns are there. So NBA. NBA will be the flux linked with the coil. Initially, this is the initial flux. Final flux means now it is rotated through 180 degrees. Cos 180 is -1. Minus NBA is the final flux. Final flux is like this. So change in magnetic flux, if I take only magnitude, final flux minus initial flux, that is minus NBA modulus of. So 2 NBA is the flux. Now, I need to calculate the charge. You know that current is equal to charge flown by time taken. Induced current is given by induced EMF by resistance. Now, how to calculate the charge? Induced EMF is nothing but, or charge is nothing but ER into T. Induced EMF is nothing but change in flux by time interval. Let me take the time as delta T. By R. Delta T gets cancelled. So delta phi by R is the answer. That is 2NB by A by R will be the answer for the question. Substitute the values. To get K value, they gave 2 into N as 100, B as 0.1, A as 0.001 by R as 10. 0, 0 gets cancelled. So 2 into 1 into 10 power minus 3 coulombs. So that is 2 millicoulomb. 2 millicoulomb is the charge that is flowing through the coil. Let us solve one more question. There exists a uniform magnetic field B is equal to B naught T K cap is a function of time in a region. A circular conducting loop of radius small r and a resistance capital R is placed with its plane in xy plane. Determine the current through the loop. And the sense of the current. And sense of the current. This is the question. So there exists a magnetic field out of the paper. Here K cap is along z axis, so magnetic field is out of the paper. And here is the loop. Radius of the loop is smaller, and it is having resistance capital R. The magnetic field is B naught T K cap. Magnetic field is B naught T K cap. Let me take the directions as x axis, y axis and z axis like this. So magnetic field is like this, loop is like this, loop is having radius small r and resistance capital R. Now you are asked to determine the current through the loop. First let me calculate the flux. Flux linked with the loop is given by B bar dot A bar. B is nothing but B naught T. A bar is nothing but pi r square. Angle is cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So phi is equal to, our magnetic flux linked is B naught pi T r square. B naught pi T r square. Now d phi B by dt, if I take, that is nothing but d by dt of B naught pi T r square. Here B naught is constant, pi is constant, r square is constant, d by dt of t. Derivative of t with respect to 1, with respect to t is 1. So B naught pi r square is the rate of change in magnetic flux. So induced EMF is equal to, only one loop is there, minus d phi b by dt, that is equal to induced EMF is equal to induced current into resistance. So you are asked to find induced current. So induced current is equal to minus 1 by r into d phi b by dt, b naught pi small r square. This is the strength of the current. Here I need the sense of current. Only magnitude, if I take magnitude of I is given by b naught pi r square by capital R. B naught pi r square by capital R. Now I need the sense of the current. Once you see here, the magnetic field is out of the paper and it's a function of time. As time is increasing, magnetic field is increasing. When magnetic field is increasing, applied magnetic field out of the paper is increasing, means induced magnetic field into the paper got developed. So once induced magnetic field is into the paper, the remaining fingers are represented like this according to right hand thumb rule. So induced current will go in clockwise direction. Clockwise current is represented with a negative sign. Here minus indicates the direction of current is clockwise. So induced current moves in clockwise direction, indicated by negative sign in the expression. Without having a discussion here, based on the negative sign also you can judge the current is going in clockwise direction. Very simple.